Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the Mother's House Podcast, and I am Deshaun.
What's up, y'all? My name is Corey. Peace to you all. What up, cuz?
Chillin', cuz. What's up with you?
I'm good, man. Highly blessed and favored. Black and beautiful. What's going on with you?
I am highly blessed and favored, black and beautiful too. And I believe around this time in 2019, we're at the 400-year mark of slavery.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty important, you know. That's like
very important,
extremely important, you know.
Like we said, our great grandmother Laura wasn't enslaved.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Slavery,
so it's not that we not that far removed from it.
Right,
you know
and most Black Americans aren't. You know, the ones whose roots go way back in this country. You know, slavery, we're a lot closer to slavery than what people, you know, realize, and we're still affected by it as well.
Yes. Just like everyone, a lot of people are across the diaspora, but yeah, definitely here in America, we tend to they want to try to tell us that it never happened or it didn't happen the way we know it happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you know, they try to stall the whole, you know, negotiations, the effects of it, and how the effects of it still exist today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
To try to make like reparations and stuff isn't necessary, and you know, slavery kicked off a bunch of stuff that
redlining,
right,
crack epidemic,
all type of discrimination, and you know, slavery by another name. You know, a whole bunch of shit that's affecting all of us today. And speaking of discrimination, me and Corey want to briefly highlight an issue that's kind of being swept on the rug and not getting a lot of press. But we do think that more people need to not only listen to what we have to say about it, but definitely read some articles as well as listen to some videos that talk about the suit that's between Byron Allen and Comcast. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The whole Byron Allen and Comcast lawsuit. Yeah. I heard about it. This lawsuit a while ago.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while. Yeah. It's, now it's at. No, go ahead, Corey.
I was just about to say they settled, not settled, but Byron Allen won in the
lower courts, right?
Lower courts, mm-hmm, right. And now they want to take it to the Supreme Courts.
Right. So
okay, just give us more details about this, cuz.
All right, just to give y'all a little bit more detail about it. So Allen is suing Comcast and Charter over racial discrimination after the cable giant refused to include his entertainment studios programming on their networks. So basically, he feels like he's being discriminated against because they denied him programming on their networks. If the Justice Department brief is favored by the Supreme Court in November, it means and it's going to happen in November. It means the interpretation of the 1866 Civil Rights Act would be affected, and it will affect African Americans everywhere. And basically, this act was used to make sure we don't get discriminated against. Because after 1866, like right around when slaves were being let out of slavery, certain laws had to be put into place to make sure we were treated, even though, of course, they weren't forced. But, of course, we needed certain laws to be put in place so we could be treated fairly. And so they won't continue to discriminate against us. And Byron Allen is using the Civil Rights Act of 1866 to prove his point as far as him being discriminated against. And he already proved his point twice in lower courts. And now they're taking it to the Supreme Court. Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening is the case, he uses the defense that Martin Luther King Jr. used, not the same defense, but he using the law that was passed that Dr. Martin Luther King and many other civil rights leaders pushed for the 1966 Civil Rights Bill that was passed, right?
Right, exactly. And Byron Allen's studio is called Entertainment Studios as well. I know some people probably didn't know Again.
Yeah, I was a little confused.
Right. His studio is called Entertainment Studios. And he owns the Weather Channel too. He owns actually a bunch of stuff.
Byron Allen he's a billionaire, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a billionaire. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a $20 billion lawsuit.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason why this is a really important case to pay attention to, because if they railroad him on this, you know what I'm saying, this tells you what this country thinks about that 66 civil rights bill.
Right, and what another reason why it's so important is because the issue here is racial discrimination among contracts, and there are millions of people impacted. Comcast cable distribution reaches about 22 million subscribers, and they've been blocking Allen from getting access to those subscribers. So his studio company, it consists of about 43 syndicated television series, and including the Weather Channel and a movie studio too. So basically, it's almost like, and he owns it. So he's a black owner, and he has black media, and they're blocking him from getting to all the black people in a nutshell. So it's almost, you said
that's
that?
that's definitely discrimination.
Right, exactly.
That's textbook discrimination.
Because, you know, once the right people can get a hold of those black audiences, because, you know, now, because a lot of people don't know, but there aren't a lot of black-owned networks. Like, a lot of people think these networks are black-owned, but they really aren't black-owned. Right, they're just, you know, you got BET, and you have some that seem like they're black-owned, but they're more so, they're supposed to, like, represent black people. But if a black person was representing a black channel, you know, that could do some damage. You know, that could change some things, and that could open the door for, especially if more people know about what's going on, it can open the door for more Byron Allens.
More Byron Allens, more black independent creators, content creators that have more access and free will to create without the yes and no from Hollywood execs or television producers or television execs at the CBC or ABC. You know what I'm saying? So this would have a greater impact. Also, it helps us to have more control over the media about ourselves.
Right, exactly. We need control over our content. We need control of our media. We need control of our news. You know, that's very important. That's extremely important. That's one of the issues now, because you think you're making your own choices, but media is such a strong, powerful tool that's programming you. They call it programming for a reason, because it's programming you to think a certain way. Right. And there are also some things in the lawsuit that says that there's some derogatory terms that they were using. They're saying that they didn't want to create any more Bob Johnsons. You know, stuff like that has been said. Yeah, so it's getting pretty ugly. And basically, they're trying to, the Department of Justice and Donald Trump has actually sided with the opposite side. So for all the people who think Donald Trump racist and stuff, here's your chance to go after him, because he is actually on the other side of this, against Byron Allen and against the 1866 civil rights law. So, you know, Trump being the racist asshole, so everybody know he is.
Is it 1866 or 1966?
1866. Because it happened right after slavery.
Okay,
that's when the law was enacted. Right.
Okay, I was definitely wrong when I mentioned Martin Luther King then.
Oh, oops.
My bad. But yeah, this is something we all should have more eyes on. We all should pay attention to. That it does impact us as American descendants of slaves, and the perception of the world seeing what American descendants of slaves are about. A lot of issues amongst the different people within the diaspora is the images that is portrayed of us on television from these media outlets. It's because we don't control our own narrative. If we have more control over our own narrative, we can get more out and more information out as well. Also, network better too. So this is an important bill. This is an important lawsuit that we should all pay attention to. We should get behind Byron Allen on this. Definitely.
Right, exactly. So, you know, as we have seen over the years, it is one of the few things that seems like it's something that's not that important, but has a much bigger impact. They're basically trying to change the way a law can be comprehended, and they would make it a lot harder if the Department of Justice and Comcast won. If the Supreme Court ruled in their favor, they would make it a lot harder to prove discrimination. That's the biggest issue. If discrimination is too hard to prove, that means it will be too easy to do.
Exactly, that's very true. And that's what makes this case very important, because if they can see, we looking at it, we can see blatant discrimination, right?
Right.
If they can maneuver, loophole, finesse the law in their favor to do that, what that does to any black man or black woman who out there trying to get a job at a hospital or at a school, you know what I'm saying?
They'll make it harder it could make it potentially harder to prove discrimination across the board. And then that law, the 1866 law that was enacted for us, would be, it would lose its power. Right.
Yeah.
So,
y'all, where a lot of stuff has been done, they've done a lot of things like this before.
Right. So y'all make sure y'all, Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell do a great job. Antonio Moore actually interviewed Byron Allen about this. He interviewed him on his channel, and he talked about it as well recently. And we're gonna leave some articles so y'all can do y'all research. And one thing you can do is because it's not a lot of people talking about this. The Congressional Black Caucus just started to talk about it. So, get the Congressional Black Caucus involved, get the NAACP involved, start tweeting them and letting them know. Start tweeting Comcast. A lot of black people got Comcast and Charter. So start tweeting them and letting them know that what they doing to Byron Allen ain't right. And, just spread the word and spread the knowledge and let people know that something big is trying to be swept under the rug that can potentially change our lives forever.
Yeah, for sure. With that being said, let's talk about it in the comment section. Other strategies. Let's strategize on this. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And we're just trying to give y'all the information the best way we know how. And let you do your own research, think for yourself, come to an understanding what your next move going to be, how you want to support the brother Byron Allen, or support this or pay attention to this court hearing. And we'll see what happens, man. It's actually kind of scary if you think about it. It's actually kind of scary, so we gotta pay attention to this kind of things, man. But let's be diligent, vigilant, and let's not be punks about it. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, thank y'all for listening, and we'll catch y'all on the flip side. Y'all have a blessed one. Peace.
I will not raise my daughter differently than my mother raised me. The rearing I got from my mother, words cannot express. I could live in any time, I could live in any country, I could live on any planet, and I would be fine.
What was the key? What did your mother know? What truth was coming through your mother that's going to come through you to your daughter?
My mother gave us aphorisms to learn as children. And there are two that stand out foremost in my mind. One is, the inner reality creates the outer form. I learned this when I was in grade school. I was very young. And the other is, the universe bears no ill to me. I bear no ill to it.